So if you knew, here's the question, if you knew your Mother Earth was on the line, would you be willing for 1 year to forego the use of flushing toilets and poop in a bucket? Who would be, if you knew it would save the world, who would poop in a bucket? Save Mother Earth. Okay.
Does somebody pick up the buckets or?
Oh no, yeah. No, they're not just around your house. That would be the reality TV show. No, there's a whole system, which I'll tell you about right now. So there's this thing, you can get this book. I think there's actually one free online. It's called the Humanure Handbook. And they talk about how to safely and effectively compost your night soil. Night soil, from anybody who likes medieval novels or studied history or something, right? You know, that's your number 2. Right? So here's the thing. You know the secret of these Chinese rice fields that are fertile for like thousands of years. The same rice fields. Like in America, you get maybe 10 years for a field fertility, right? And then you have to dump NPK, you know, all of these various fertilizers. We go to the Middle East to rip oil out of the ground. Part of that becomes the fertilizer that we use for our fields that only last for 5 years or something like that, growing soybeans. In China and in Europe and all over the world, they realized that poo-poo makes the ground fertile. Right? It's this weird thing. I know. I thought we were supposed to poop in the river and drink out of the ground. No. It goes the other way. We're supposed to poop in the ground and drink out of the river. And yet, if I've done my job, some of you should still be kind of like listening to me and going like, ew, like broccoli grown from... Okay, and most people don't put it on their broccoli, they put it on the trees for a couple of years, or they put it on the fallow field, and so everybody feels like, okay, cool, we're safe. It's not poop anymore, it's just soil. Okay, right? You really soiled your garden right now. So, why is this important? Why should we have to go through this like, ew? Well, just a little bit, and this is sort of just an example. This is not the one that I think you necessarily need to take home with you. Although if you do, it costs only the price of a 5-gallon bucket from Home Depot and getting some waste sawdust from a carpenter around you, and you have to build a compost bin. Takes a year to cure. So, did anybody notice that California just went through one of the biggest droughts in its history? One of the worst, like most evil droughts. Like people in Central California, like no shower, no toilet, no drinking water, right? Of course, they were only low-income people, so we don't really have to worry. The almond fields were still irrigated. Those almonds went to China mostly. It's very interesting. Okay, so meanwhile, in the bathroom, Americans were using, the average American used 45% of the water that they used in the bathroom, various bathroom activities. 45% of their water. So this isn't lawns, this isn't washing dishes, this isn't drinking, this is scrubbing and flushing in the bathroom. If you have an older toilet, it uses an optimistic estimate 3.5 gallons of water per flush. 3.5 gallons of the water that they work on in the treatment plant. And if it's a really bad old toilet, it can use up to 7 gallons of water per flush. Wow. Okay, so we're letting our lawns go brown so that we can conserve water, right? But did you or anybody you know let your lawn go brown? Right, you know? And if you're cool, you can just put a sign out there that was like, you know, we're conserving water, okay? Our lawn's ugly because we care about the environment. And you are awesome for that, okay? Please don't take me like, and you're a hypocrite. No, like, that's great. And we have to look at where are the other small decisions that don't make us feel as good, but are actually 45% of the issue, right? So, if you let it mellow when it's yellow, right, you're actually, right? And when it's brown, flush it down, of course. But if you let it mellow when it's yellow, you're actually probably doing more than most of the brown lawns around you in your neighborhood. This is really interesting. Now, check it out. So I did some math here. So let's say my partner and I live in a house, and let's be pessimistic. Let's say the toilet was made before the governmental standards that say now a new toilet is only allowed to use like 1.6 gallons per flush, which is a lot better, right? But, so let's say we have a 3 gallon, so that's 9 gallons of water each per day if we're digestively regular, and we let it mellow when it's yellow, right? So that's, for a household of 2, that's 18 gallons of water down the drain, right? Meanwhile, you'll get a ticket if you grow a vegetable garden. Right? Oh, you're not conserving, you're not on the conservation plan. But nobody, I know there's a lot about bathroom regulation up in the world, and this is not that kind of bathroom regulation. But I don't think we think about these subtle, literal drains of the vitality of our earth, just off into the treatment plant and then into the ocean. So it's this really interesting thing. If you pooped in a bucket, you would be saving, let's say in my slightly pessimistic estimate, 18 gallons of water a day. Then, check it out. This is cool. How does water get into the aquifer? Do you know how does water get into the aquifer? Okay, how does it happen?
Gravity.
Gravity pulls it down. Okay, how else?
Has to rain.
It has to rain. Okay, this is very good. So we got to figure out how to do that somehow. So your earth has to be porous and fluffy in order to absorb the water. Your earth is hard packed. Water doesn't go in it runs off. And then we have infrastructure. It's really interesting. At least in places like Santa Cruz and LA, that are made to take the rainwater and divert it to the ocean as quickly as possible. Right? In some of these places, it's illegal to harvest that rainwater for your own use. And it's just so backwards. Like, it doesn't help prevent flooding. It just gets rid of the rainwater as quickly as possible. Right? So if the earth is porous, though, and fluffy, it soaks the water into itself for the plants that are there, and then the longer that stays, the more it can trickle down and recharge the deep level use of your aquifers underground. This is the part that we're rapidly draining and not restoring each year, regardless of whether we get snowpack in the Sierras or not. This is the part that remains cannibalized. Right? So, if you just poop in a bucket, you guys, just no, Homer's bucket from Home Depot, they didn't pay me for that advertisement, okay, and some sawdust, then you're creating this fluffy, loamy soil that sinks the water down into it. So your plants not only have to be watered less, but the water is actually going to spend more time in the earth, which allows it to cool down and recharge the aquifers underground. That's pretty neat. You also don't do this. Okay, none of you probably do this. This is like, oh, nature's so great. It built a built-in package. I wonder what it'd be like if we put another package. Why in the world would you need a banana wrapped in saran wrap? That's amazing. And yet, such a thing exists. Right? But, okay, it's really hard to grow your own bananas. But there's a way to do it. We can talk about it later. Even in northern climates, you can grow your own bananas. You have to build a bathhouse, greenhouse around them, and you have your animals have them. Anyway, so it stays warm. But you become the best kind of locavore. That means you eat locally, right? So you're not spending petroleum to bring your food in. You're not spending packaging. You're not spending your car driving to the store. You're just plucking kale out of your garden. You're plucking apples off your tree. You're plucking filberts off of your tree because you have the most fertile soil and the most water-rich soil in all the Shire. Isn't that cool? Oh, maybe not cool enough to make you poop in a bucket. Right? I'm not sure. But I wanted to use this example because if you got a little bit of like, wait, seriously? I mean, don't they make you go through some like cultural shaping process before you get to become a minister? Like, we don't talk about these things in real society. But the thing is, when it comes to the actions that we may have to take to create real change, they are often either far outside the norm or they're hard, right? Pooping in a bucket bucket is both. Right? Having lived on permaculture projects where somebody has to take those buckets and put them in the compost bin and stuff like that, like it's actually kind of difficult because we've gotten used to the miracle of running water. Hey, don't get me wrong, miracle of running water, totally awesome, right? And yet, we think like what people have done for 500, many thousands of years is like, oh, but I could never do that, right? When in fact, and then we wonder, but how am I going to save water? So it's this very interesting kind of thing that with some of the things it's going to take, they require us stepping outside of what's normal, stepping outside of what's comfortable, if we're going to get all of these little micro decisions that add up to make real change in the world. Okay. So hopefully, was that provocative enough? There are a couple of like homesteader, tiny home people, and they're like, oh yeah, I already pooped in a bucket in my apartment. And you guys are awesome. Okay, so there's a whole thing on aquifers. Okay, so part of the inspiration for this too was, and if you do it, so the other thing that might come up is if you do it wrong, it really stinks. If you do it right, there's no odor. Right? I've seen well-done human manure composting systems, like they work perfectly. But it takes work, it takes skill development. Right? So check out, you may also be resistant because you're like, I'm not sure about the hygiene. Didn't we build that water infrastructure because of hygienic things? That's all true, right? It's just a really good extreme example to get you kind of fired up. Go and research it on your own, it'll be really fun. Okay, but I was inspired by a couple weeks ago, I brought up, it can be really hard to bring your own bags to the grocery store. It seems like the easiest things, but no, I don't mean the big ones, I mean the little cloth ones that you use for your bulk oatmeal, right? How many people already bring their big bags to the grocery store? Okay, see, pretty good. How many people bring their mason jar that you've got the tear weight on it so you can fill it full of lentils, right? 2 of 3 of us, right? Because it's hard, and it's not normal. Nobody does that. Does anybody do that? No. You go into the Whole Foods down the street with a mason jar and go up to the butcher counter and ask them, could you give me a tear weight for this? And be like, why? Well, because I'm going to go get bulk food. We have bags for you. It's odd. It's outside the norm. And yet, those of us who are,